What's the difference between an ego mind and a pure mind? Or an ego mind and an enlightened mind? Well, there's no difference. Anything that's given an identity, a word, is born from an idea, an assumption, an ego-based creation. And even enlightened cannot escape ego. When that incredible shock of enlightenment comes and annihilates your ego mind, it's not the end, you see. It's not permanent dementia, permanent Alzheimer's. You've just developed the mind of a child. Or you have to develop the same mind that you went through from a baby to a child to an adult to an older person. But you have to start again. That's why the enlightened one in that ultimate experience laughs, giggles. You watch any live enlightenment shows from Papaji or Moji or Gangaji. The breakthrough is when the adult mind is cast aside and the child mind, the baby mind, returns to realize what a fool I've been. I've been convinced that I'm a person. I've been convinced that there's a story. I've been convinced that there's a A to Z way of living your life. I've been convinced that I'm going to die. I've been convinced that I can't do anything genuine or original for myself because of the fear of breaking the rules, breaking the guidelines, breaking the ways, breaking the expectations from your parents, breaking the educational system. All that was nonsense. But it's not nonsense to the adult, the intelligent one that has not been taken back to that beginning point that Rumi eloquently speaks about, the date of birth. Now, without going into the spiritual side, let's look at it in a more human side. How do I deal with enlightenment? Enlightenment is just nothingness, childlike. Everything is whatever it is. I exist. I know I exist. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to breathe. I don't understand what I am because I haven't learned through the schooling system. I haven't learned from my parents that you're a name, you're a body, this is your person, your flesh and blood. You have to learn all that again. And it's fun. It's absolutely fun. Sometimes it can be hard. When your partner says, "What do you want for tea?" and you're a 4-year-old, and you think, I don't mind. Just get me food. Make a decision. But you can't make decisions because you don't understand what decisions are. A child doesn't make a decision until he's about 4 or 5. What would you like, crisps or chocolate? It takes a long time. Crisps, please, today. When you ask a child at 1-year-old, what do you want, crisps or chocolate? Is it a no? So, coping with the return of ego, it can be difficult, but you are coping with an enlightened state. You're coping with that free, liberated child that you are. And you realize that children are far more wise than the president of the country, the king, the queen. They're the most wise. And what you're doing to your own children, myself, now realized I'm taking away the wisdom, the freedom, the poetry, the creativity, by telling them they have to follow this path, this ego path. And some follow it to the letter. And some, they say, don't worry about it. And they get ridiculed from those that follow it to the letter. And then there's conflict. And then we have division. And that's what ego does. It divides and conquers. It divides, conquers, and tries to rebuild. Each ruler of each country says, if you come to our country, you're going to have to do this, 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 and this. And if you do this, you can come in. But you have to obey the rules. And then in the next speech, we want everyone to come to our country. It's so free, it's beautiful. We want you to spend your money here. We want all the world to be united as one. And you become suspect of that. The child is so suspect. Why? Why one day do you say you have to be like this, and then the next day, we better get them in though, because we need the cash. So let's pretend we want to be one united nation, one united world. Let me enlighten you as this childlike mind that isn't proud to be a childlike mind, just accepts what we are doing is not what we're here to do. We're not here to follow external ways and rules and build boundaries and divisions and treat each other as different species, colors. We're all the same life, and that's what the child sees. So the idea of going through life is to have it perfect, and break it all up, make it suffer, make it hard, make it difficult, make it negative. And then if you're lucky, before your body passes, put it back together again and become the child. But unfortunately, this child lives in a world of ego. And that's okay. But the learning to become an adult again is so fun. Because what we've lost as an adult is the humor of the child, is the freedom, is the openness, is the ability to laugh at ourselves, ability to accept the ridiculous. We have to control the ridiculous in a mental hospital and say, well, he's acting like a child. Give him some medication. Give him some jobs to do. Put him out in the community. Make them behave like they're supposed to behave. But that's an idea. It's all conceptual stuff. The ego is just playing around with life, playing around with how much it can destroy, and then how much it is. We've destroyed all that. Now let's create something to pacify, to balance our mind. The ego is the imbalanced mind that always tries to balance itself but fails to balance itself. The child is always balanced. I'm going to continue with a couple of stories in the next video. And these are ways of seeing life from the child's perspective in an adult's body, having lived as an adult and making some sort of comparisons and measurements to what it is. And you'll see that this couple of stories are quite entertaining. But to the serious one, we already know that stuff, but we have to get on. We've got so much important things to do. And the child is in the back of the class is saying, really? What's more important than just having fun, laughing, and loving, and being open, and accepting, and trusting, and having faith in what's taking place, with no seriousness, with no positivity and no negativity, with no opposing states. Anyway, you enjoyed the stories and part two. Thank you. Namaste.